Welcome back to Houston Life. If you need a little me time, could a vacation be the answer? Yes, the answer is always yes. You know, more Americans are suddenly turning to what's being called the self-cation as a way to reset and recharge. Our travel guy, Gabe Saglie, is on one right now, and he's joining us from Mendocino County in Northern California with more on this trend. Hey, Gabe, you're on a self-cation right now?
Yeah, listen, my wife misses me. My kids, my 3 kids miss me. But sometimes we need to do this. Just escape, get away, focus on ourselves. I'm going to be that much happier when I get back home. That's what I'm telling them, you see.
I see. Okay, so this is something you're not alone in. Americans want more me time in the age of being able to get contacted on every social media app in existence. Yeah. It's like, okay, I need to unplug and just do the solo thing for a little bit. Is that right?
Totally. And, think about how America is sleeping. The CDC saying that between a third and half of us are not getting enough sleep. So we're waking up thinking, I need a break. I need to focus on myself. So that's the idea with a self-cation. You are vacationing for the concept of escaping, of focusing on your personal interests, doing physical and mental activities that foster personal renewal. And then you've got destinations like this, Mendocino County in Northern California, about 2.5 hours north of the Bay Area, that are leaning into this concept in a pretty big way and trying to attract people who need that break, who need that escape, and giving them what they need to accomplish that goal.
That's amazing. As someone who has solo vacation, my favorite thing is that you don't have to ask anybody if they want to do something that you want to do. You can kind of just go and do it. And we're seeing like a rise of new wellness resorts that kind of cater to the solo traveler.
Absolutely. You don't need, permission. You don't need to offer any excuses. You don't have to feel guilty about just focusing on you, which is kind of a nice and certainly a novel concept these days. Yes, wellness resorts, a whole new breed of them at a place called the Stanford Inn here in Mendocino, next to the little town of Mendocino. Only 900 people live there. Again, plenty of room to roam up here. That's part of the appeal. But this is the only vegan resort in the country. I don't eat vegan usually or vegetarian, but I've really been enjoying my meals. They have a USDA certified organic garden that fuels everything they make in the kitchen. Then the kitchen scraps come back to revitalize the soils in the garden. Cool concept. The wellness offerings here, way beyond your massages and facials. They'll work with you one-on-one or offer classes in things like nutrition, breath work, meditation, Chinese herbs, acupuncture, gardening. They're going to be starting the mushroom foraging classes here in the fall. So again, cool things to do because you're on vacation, but kind of ways to maybe recalibrate, rework your everyday tasks so you're better informed and just doing them better when you get back home. Again, one of several resources, a place here called SCP Mendocino, Sustainability Reigns Supreme there. There's a place called Mar Vista Cottages and Farm. Used to be old fishing cottages that now allow you to hang out with the llamas during the day and digitally detox so there are no TVs in the room. So yeah, a whole new breed of wellness resorts up here in Mendocino County.
That is so interesting, and that video is simply stunning. You know, being in the city, and I'm a city girl. I love being in the city. But sometimes, you do need to kind of unplug. Okay, tell me about forest bathing, because I've heard a lot of things that are interesting, and forest bathing is probably at the top there. Let's talk about that.
You would dig this, believe me. I did it yesterday, as a matter of fact. Forest bathing is a Japanese concept. Shinrin yoku, they call it in Japan. It's starting to get some attention here. The idea is that you find a natural setting like a sweeping forest, and you go deep and you commune with that natural environment around you. You slow down. You maximize your sensory perception of that natural surrounding. This is an area that has more than 500,000 acres of those gorgeous, famous old-growth redwoods, which are just stunning. I was at Hendy Woods State Park yesterday. There are about 24 state and national parks in this county. And I walked in and was in there for like 45, 60 minutes and just allowed myself to be in the moment and slow down. And I walked out of there with a smile on my face and a skip in my step. It sounds esoteric to some folks, but honestly, you do this, allow yourself to slow down, and it feels really, really good, very restorative. If you prefer the ocean, you've got more than 100 miles of coastline here in Mendocino County, very rugged, raw, sweeping coastline, different than other parts of the California coast. So you can do that as well. Slow down, recharge. I'm about 10 minutes from a place called Fort Bragg. Beautiful black sand beaches there. So very unique coastline here. And then I'm right next to the big river. There are about 18 rivers that snake throughout Mendocino County. Another example of how you can get sort of up close and personal with Mother Nature. The place I'm at now, the Stanford Inn, they have a operation called Catch a Canoe. They'll put you in one of these balanced canoes. You pedal and paddle, so easy to do. But then you're by yourself, miles and miles of this very calm river to, again, go in deep into the natural surroundings, allow yourself to just breathe a little deeper, and then you're going to come back feeling really good. Again, I've done it now, so I can tell you it works. It feels real good.
Well, you look great. You look zen. I feel more zen just looking at some of that beautiful, beautiful forestry. What about dark sky tourism? That's another thing I'm learning about. Can you tell us more?
Yeah, listen, those of us who live in the city, surrounded by lights, we love them. But this is a remote destination that really prides itself on being far away from that urban light pollution. And when we hear about celestial happenings, in the last couple of weeks, there's been this talk of this planetary parade where 6 planets are actually uniquely lining up in the dark sky at night and early morning. And the best way to witness something like that is to be far away from city lights. This is a company called Night Sky Adventure, where they'll set up these really cool, sophisticated telescopes for public, and then they'll do from private parties as well. But again, this is an area where you're just gazing at a super dark sky. Those who do it will tell you it fosters awe, an appreciation of being a part of a universe, of a galaxy. And if that sounds, again, a little esoteric, just keep in mind the dark sky and sort of communing with a very dark sky is known to foster things like stress reduction, tranquility. And again, who doesn't like that? Again, part of this burgeoning self-cation movement.
It sounds literally magical. Okay, real quick before we go, foodies love to travel, and healthful eating, that's a big factor nowadays as well, right?
Certainly. You know what's been really fun? To drive around this county and see farm after farm after farm. You're buying your plums and your peaches and your apples from the farmers who grew them, and they just could have lined this county in just a magical way. I visited a place called Penny Royal Farm. They've got chickens there, and so the eggs you're buying are right from the chickens. They've got an organic vineyard. They have a creamery where their sheep and their goats produce this milk and the butter and cheese. In fact, their cheeses you'll see at restaurants all over the county. The wine scene, I've got to give a quick shout out to the Anderson Valley wine industry. It's 50 some odd wineries here, but it's all about organic, biodynamic, regenerative farming. And this sort of mindful approach to agriculture, to growing food, growing wine, is part of the concept here. And then as a consumer, you are eating and you're sipping, but again, in a more mindful way. You know that people have been a bit more conscientious of how they work with the soil, the land around them, and they're producing some delicious stuff. So it's a win-win. And again, another way of really doing it up, this self-cation concept out here in beautiful Mendocino County.
Gabe Saglie, you had me at goat cheese from the farm right there.
I had you at forest bathing, let's be honest.
That's right, that's right. Okay, so listen, we're going to share a link for our viewers to learn more about these latest travel trends, which I find so interesting. It's all on our website, HoustonLife.tv, under the Scene on Houston Life section. Hey, don't go anywhere. Houston Life will be right back.